basically what we're going to be doing here is making a homemade protein with less than 1 gram of sugar and under 80 calories per cup. You can't go wrong, right? So, let's get started. The first thing we're going to add is 2 egg whites. And you can buy the pasteurized kind and do it that way. And I know you're not supposed to do it this way, but I've been doing it and I've been fine. So you're just going to separate the egg whites into your blender. The next thing we're going to add is pretty much the rest of our ingredients. It doesn't really matter what order you're doing this in. I mean, aside from the oats, but we'll get to that. Next thing I'm going to add is only a half a scoop of whey, and this, I am using vanilla ice cream flavored, and just a whey isolate here. You can buy other ways, muscle milk. You can buy all kinds of different stuff. Really, it's a lot of guys just go with whatever is cheaper. We're just gonna put that right into the blender with sugar-free, fat-free, instant Jello, vanilla flavor. About a fourth a cup, 4 servings in this bag, and 1/4 is 1/4. So we're gonna add 1/4 of this pudding mixture. Next thing I'm gonna add is the cocoa powder, and this is Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa. A lot of people think that there'll be so much sugar in this, and it's this crazy amount of calories and all this crap. But no, it's baking cocoa powder, and it's got 10 calories and 0 grams of sugar, and it's got 2 grams of fiber even. So I mean, this stuff is not bad for you, and it adds great taste. It's gonna be bitter if you don't add a sweetener to it, but it adds 1 tablespoon your chocolate flavor, because I find that you don't really need much of this. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more, but you really don't need too much of this stuff, because a little too much can really overpower whatever you're trying to do. So, alright, now that that's in, I'm going to go ahead and add my peanut butter. And with this, your peanut butter, you want to be careful when you buy it. I mean, you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do, really, but I'm going with the natural. You want to make sure when you buy peanut butter, and I'm sure you've heard this many times, that the only ingredients on the ingredients list should be peanuts or a little bit of salt. Those two together, but really it should be only peanuts, and contains 1% or less of salt. Keep it simple. That is the ingredients list. And go with the natural peanut butter. And I went with creamy this time. I find that it comes out easier, and it's a lot. It's easier to work with. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this. And measuring spoon I'm using right now is a teaspoon. So I mean, there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, I'm pretty sure. So I pretty much just had a heaping teaspoon. And I just call that, I'm just going to call this 1 tablespoon here. And this will be 2. So that's about 2 tablespoons. So now that that's added, you're going to go ahead and add your whipped cream. And I found that adding this adds fluff and body to your cups. So I'm going to add a few servings of this. And a few servings, I'm just going with a few spoonfuls here. That should be good. So, add the oats. And I put oats in here. That sounds weird, because it's a Reese's peanut butter cup. But, I mean, 1, it adds body to your cups. And 2, when you put them in the freezer, because you have to put them in the freezer, they freeze quicker, I find. And they hold together after you take them up a while, because a lot of times we're making these and you'll take them out of the freezer to eat them, and they'll fall apart in your hand before you can get them into your mouth. So I find that these hold together well. So I went ahead and at first you're gonna take a 1/4 cup of oats, and I was just like it's a fuller old-fashioned, and they're bigger, and I just like cooking and baking with these more. Now those are added. Going to go ahead and add a bit of water to this. The reason I added water is because there's a lot of dry ingredients and there's only 2 egg whites to mix that all together. So it's going to be easier for it to mix. Alright, so you go ahead and put your lid on and make sure it's closed. And then lock her into place and blend. About halfway through this, I take the lid off and I scrape down the sides because all the dry ingredients in there like just stick to it. And depending on your blender, I mean, that's what's going to be the deciding factor on how well everything blends and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and add 1/4 more dry oats. Take just your average shaker cup. This one works fantastic for this. And go ahead and dump your ingredients into the mixer cup. Now this is going to be thick because of all that whipped cream and oats you put in it. Basically, we've dumped the contents from the blender into the other half of our oats now, the other 1/4 of a cup, and we're going to add it to the batter in the shaker cup. Now again, the reason I'm doing this is to add more of a body and kind of a center to the peanut butter. Alright, so that is done. I'm just using these cheap foil cupcake molds. One thing you don't want to do is use the paper. You're going to want to go ahead and take this part, separate it out, and use the tin foil side, the aluminum. And you're going to want to go ahead and take out 8 cups. Good deal. Alright, so now you have your oats folded into your batter, and your batter's in a shaker cup for easier access because that blender is a nightmare. It's a nightmare zone for this. We're going to go ahead and begin evenly distributing the batter into the cupcake mold. And what I like to do is, scoop at a time. Add to each mold, just simply, and I'll go a scoop to a mold until they're all filled, and then I will just adjust fire from there. And you can even add onto this, like inside of each cup. You could do whatever you want to do. Like you could put some almonds in there, maybe some chocolate chips if you felt going that route. I mean, some coconut shavings. That's just a great treat to keep around the house. I mean, holidays? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna make this pretty much every day of my life from now on. That's how it's gonna happen. After any meal, these are fantastic, and they fit right into about anybody's meal budget if you're into keeping track. But yeah. So okay, 8 cups. You got. And what we're gonna do with this now is 2 to 3 hours in the freezer, and your finished product should look something like this. They're going to be uneven. You can make them pretty, if you're into that sort of thing, but really, I promise you, once you have these things, you're not going to care if they look pretty. You're just going to want to put them in your freaking mouth. And with these oat ones, keep their consistency very well. They taste outstanding, fantastic. Recommend them to anybody. They're simple, easy to make, can't go wrong. The nutrition facts are down in the info, and like I said, have a good day. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I know I do daily. And like I said, recipes are not set in stone. You know, give some new stuff a try. You know, throw some stuff in that you might think is good. Let me know if you try anything new, and I'd like to give it a try also. So.